What's up, everybody? It's your favorite Cyborg's favorite nerd, and today we are looking at PlayArt's Kai DC variant Cyborg. So I had to tell you how I got this thing. Shout out to Alex. I'll just say Alex. Won't give away his other name. He commissioned me for an art piece, and it was very specific what he wanted, and it didn't allow me to really resell it just because of the content of it. And I'm a pretty cheap guy when it comes to commission stuff, but if I can't resell it, then I gotta kind of make up everything on the front end. So it was a fairly expensive commission, and he was getting rid of this figure. He asked if I wanted to buy it, and I was like, sure. We'll just take it off of the commission piece. So it all kind of worked out. And he also sent me the Ray figure too. So I'm happy to have him. I wanted this guy, I just hadn't got around to kind of buying him yet, and he's pretty good. So we're going to talk about accessories first. We'll get him out of the way for now. He comes with this alternate head. Now, I really like the head sculpt on the figure that's on there. There's something really weird here in the face, in the mouth. I think it's that the teeth are clenched. I think the teeth should not be clenched. I think that's what it is. Also, the sculpt is different on the. Now I don't know if that's supposed to simulate that the armor is kind of like symbiotic. You know what I mean? Like it's like moving around or whatever. It's not a big deal. I don't mind it, but it is bizarre. Paint wise, it's pretty much spot on perfect. You got this silver paint, and then you got this purple on top. The silver is very metallic. The purple shading looks great on it. The skin tone looks good. The wash on top of the face for shading is a little intense, but it's not hateful. And then the red eye looks good. There's an issue regarding this figure all around, and we're going to talk about it, but it involves this red. I think that they want this red to look like it's glowing, and they hadn't started their light source painting yet like they did on the Boba Fett. So it doesn't really give it that effect in a lot of places, but we'll talk about that a little bit more. The eye is painted beautifully, and the hair sculpt is great too. He comes with two closed fists, which work just fine. He doesn't have any holding hands, and unlike a Marvel Legend or a Black Series figure, that's a good thing because he doesn't have any accessories to hold, so it doesn't make sense for him to have holding hands, right, Hasbro? And these look good, and they're painted well, and they're sculpted well, and they're fantastic. There's a little white spot on there, but I don't know if it's supposed to be reflective or if it's a mistake, but it looks good either way. He comes with these two things, which are like rocket thrusters type things, and it's the same thing. There's that red again and all down here. Now, I think, you'll see this on the figure as well, I think that this is supposed to look like it's glowing, but it doesn't. It doesn't look up to PlayArt's normal standard. And I think if they would have done this now, they would have done the light sourcing paint kind of around it, and that would have looked much better. But they plug onto his back here, and I'm just going to take these on and then take them off, just for the sake of, but they go on nicely, which is a bonus. You know what, and they look so good, I might leave them on. It might be better if they were folded down a little bit more, but just for the sake of space, but it does look good, doesn't it? Very cool, very mech. Okay, so then he comes with this gun. Now this plugs into his forearm, and we'll show that off. And it's cool. It's painted well. It's got this like white paint over top of the silver paint with the purple like shading underneath. So that's all good, and the red is all painted in there really well. It's just that same thing where I think it should be glowing, but it's not. So it plugs into there, right here, and then you get this super long gun, and that to me looks very cool, and it's huge. You know, like it's more than half of the figure. And then the forearm peg just plugs in there, and I'll have some pictures at the end to show that. And I might show it off here. But there's a couple other things you can do with this. So these pieces unplug and then they plug back here. And you don't have to. You can keep it whichever mode you'd like to keep it. I think I like them a little bit forward, but the option is available to you. And this one down here is a little loose, so that's a QC issue. That's just bad. But it's there, and if you like that look, good thing. I don't particularly like that look because it doesn't stick together well, and that would have been a real bummer. And then this unplugs, and you can plug this bit in here and have like a little Gatling gun looking thing. But I think that I prefer the extended, you know, bit of business. And I'll tell you what, we're reviewing them. We might as well show how it works. So one of his things fell off. We'll just take it off. It's a better idea. All right, so unplug this, and that exposes the ball hinge here on the elbow, ratcheted ball hinge, which only swivels at the bottom, but that's fine. And that's that. And that's pretty awesome. I love it. I love it. I love it. This joint here, this hinge, is not ratcheted, so the weight of this weapon is going to drag it down a bit. You see? So that kind of stinks. That should have been ratcheted. That should have been ratcheted. I'm not going to make any excuses for him. You know I love play arts, but that was a poor move. Okay, so now let's talk about this guy. All right, so the head is on a ball peg, as we've seen. You can see it up in there. I'm not going to pop this head off because it's a good fit. And then the neck into the torso is on a ball peg as well. So articulation-wise is pretty good. I feel like you could get a little bit more out of the neck, but it's pretty good. You can go. You can't look up really because of the sculpt of the back of the headpiece there, but everything else is pretty much within your range of motion. You have these shoulder pads, which are on little ball pegs, and they're also hinged, so they can articulate down, up, and then they swivel at the ball peg. So that's cool. It feels a little loose on there, which is not my favorite thing, but you know, that might be intentional, so that it always feels like it's sitting on top of the shoulder. But whatever. The shoulders themselves are the old school butterfly joint, and I like them a lot. I miss them on regular ones. And then you got the ball hinge here, which swivels inside of the butterfly joint, so that's fine. Bicep swivel on top of that, which is good. And then everything's the same on the other side. To continue down, you get the forearm swivel where it plugs in, and then you get the standard issued Play Arts Kai ball hinge hand, which swivels at the base of the wrist. All right, so we'll talk about paint, and we'll talk about the torso, and then we'll go paint. So the top bit of the torso is on a ball joint, but the sculpt does hinder it from getting down a good bit, and then the bottom part is on a ball joint as well, where you get your full swivel and everything, and that's a tight joint, but it works really well. Pelvis is a floating piece of plastic, and now we'll do paint on the upper body. So the head is painted the same way as the other one, but it looks a lot better because of the closed mouth, and the eye is spot on beautiful. The little reflection in the eye. They paint it with like a gloss, so it almost looks wet. It's just really cool. The hair is painted black underneath, brown underneath, and then dry brush black on top, and that looks really good. It looks really sharp. It looks really believable. I dig that a lot. The metal's kind of the same as we talked about, and that's the same throughout. There's a good example of that red, though. The red, like you see how it's lighter there? I think they're trying to make it look like it's glowing, but it doesn't really give that effect. Not a big deal, just pointing it out. Let's see what else. This stuff in here is all textured, this body stuff, and then it's same on the neck. And then on the bicep here, it's all textured, sculpted, it's good to go. And then all the other paint is pretty much what we've talked about. The silver has some white painted on it for an extreme highlight, which looks really good here too. And then it also has the purple kind of ink throughout for shading, which also looks really good. no real complaints. And then the black there's tons of layers of texture and depth to this figure, so it's good. It makes it very interesting. No complaints. Hips are on, except for the red. Hips are on universals, ratcheted universals, so up to there, no problem. Up to there, no problem. Thigh swivels in the universal. It's not extreme, but it's anatomically correct, so I'm good with that. All this stuff looks good, kind of the same. Double jointed knees, and that's actually a fairly good looking player. It gets a little out of control there, but it's a fairly good Play Arts knee. It would have been nice. Oh, I don't know what they would have done. I really don't know what they would have done, but it's a fairly good one. And then the calves are probably the best painted thing on the figure because it has everything kind of in one shebang: the white, the silver, the black, the purple, the red, like it all. And it looks a little bit more glowing here because it has the lighter red right in the center and then the darker red as it gets around it. Same on the other side. The feet are this typical ball hinge feet, so you get your tilt up to there, which is okay, and then down to there, which is good. And then you really got to work this thing because of the sculpt to get your rocker. But it is there. You got to kind of rock it to the side and then rock it forward, and then you got your rocker. And then the toe tilt is here. And it's okay. It's way far back in the foot, but because it's a mechanical foot, it doesn't really bother you. And then all this stuff down here on the bottom of the foot is all sculpted. So it's a good figure. It really is. So we're not going to do a skip for this one today. Every time I do a Play Arts video, people are always asking to see the Play Arts collection. So we're going to show the collection off a little bit today instead. Go handheld. So this is where I keep the majority of my DC variant stuff, which is right here on this shelf. And still missing a few pieces. I want that armored Batman. And then I have to debate on whether or not I can stomach the Green Lantern and the Superman, because it does look naked without them. But they are all my heroes. And then I have a Batman down there, just because I haven't figured out exactly what I want to do with him yet. But he's down in there, and then the villains are up in here. And like I said, I have the Arkham City one there, just because I don't know what I'm quite doing over here. I need to get that Dark Side, and then and that Catwoman, and then I'll have a better idea. And I got my Mortal Kombat figures because I don't know quite what I'm doing with them yet either. And let's see, Play Arts figures for me are like they're a little everywhere. So I got my Arkham City ones over here. Like, I'll show you the full display. That's like where I play video games and stuff. I got Cammy down there. And then I got my Arkham City ones over here. Ivy and Catwoman. And then my Superman Returns villains. Zod and Ursula or whatever. And then I got a little smorgasbord here. Arkham City Harley, and then the Dark Knight Rises Catwoman, and the Dark Knight Joker, and then Batman Begins and Man of Steel. And then I got my Boba Fett and my Watchmen guy upstairs. So, final thoughts wise, the negatives for this figure: the red paint I don't think accomplishes what they meant for it to accomplish, but it doesn't look bad. It just doesn't. It almost looks like they should have just painted it red, as if it was a red coloring instead of red lighting. The other big issue for this guy is those ball hinge shoulders should have been ratcheted. That would have enabled him to keep that weapon up at a higher level. If they're going to give him all that weight in the weapon, well, then they better design that figure to hold all that weight. Otherwise, what's the point? But overall, he's beautiful. The textures and sculpts and all that stuff is great. The line work is great. The paint is pretty much great. With the exception of the red, it's great. The articulation is spot on. Don't think I'd ask for anything more. Maybe a little bit more of that ball joint range of motion in the upper torso, but outside of that, pretty much good to go. I love this character. I'm a big fan of his. I'm happy to have him in my collection. If you're a Cyborg fan, get him. If you're a Justice League fan, get him. If you are a Play Arts Kai fan, get him. But if you are not into the anime-ish, whatever, the design take that Play Arts Kai has been doing for their variant line, then obviously stay away. But I think it's pretty cool, and I'm not a big anime guy, and I love it on my shelf, so I think you will too, if you don't absolutely hate everything about it. So, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.